Welcome to this discussion on AI with regard to creating content as a Christian. This new channel is dedicated to people who identify as being of a Christian faith, and that's important to them, that's a value to them. They are also people who are creating content, particularly online. Sometimes this includes like creatives who may be selling something like on Etsy or whatever, and they still have marketing to do. They have copy to write, they have emails to share with readers, etc. Primarily when I'm thinking of the Christian content creators, I'm thinking of people who either are like bloggers, authors, podcasters, people sharing video, maybe they create courses and tools. I do a lot of those different things, and I tend to be researching and looking through things all the time and trying to figure out what's going to work best for me. One of my challenges is something that I think is common for many other Christian content creators, and that is coming up with the way to present an idea. Maybe I have a vague concept. How do I actually state it in a title, in good descriptions that draw in someone who would actually benefit from the content I'm sharing? How do I present the content clearly? How do I connect all these different resources? All of that is part of this world of content creation. And I believe that we also, as Christians, wrestle with different things like those fears and how they show up, and how they keep us from doing the work that God has called us to do. And so with my trauma therapy and Christian growth kind of background, emotional health, soul care aspect, I'm also bringing that into this space, and then a potential upcoming membership community where you're receiving support not only for who you are and how you do the work, but also for the work that you're doing and all the things you need to navigate. That is part of the heart behind this new channel for Christian creators. I changed the name so many times, it's not coming to me easy at this moment, but Creator Life Collective, because I want you to live more fully alive as you're creating content for others. It's about the life of content creation, and we're doing this collectively. I want to provide some collaborative efforts. So today, in our first video discussion on AI, I'm going to be bringing in a couple of people, at least one of my friends, and I believe another person that she knows that I haven't met yet, that are going to share how they've been using AI so that we can hear from other voices, which I love, and I love that we can bring that into this space. So if anybody is listening and my audio's janky or anything like that, please let me know. I do have the comments up here on the tool that I'm using, and I'm going to be bringing, Mary's already ready to join us, so I'm going to get through some of my other content so that I can bring her on soon. And what I wanted to do today is highlight not just what AI is. I want to kind of start with identifying, how AI has really exploded here in 2023. It has just grown tremendously. Talk a little bit about some of the different tools that are out there. Although tomorrow I'm going to go live again, and I'm going to do a deeper dive into some specific tools, tools that I have tried and how I'm learning to use them. And so, hey, Melissa's here, yay! It's nice to have someone here on the brand new channel. There's like nobody yet, so it's nice to see you guys. I also want to kind of address some concerns that people have around AI when it comes to its impact as a creator, and that was like copyright issues, lazy writing, that type of thing, and explore a little bit about how AI functions, so that I can hopefully offer some perspective and encouragement about some of the things that we might be fearing around AI, and giving you hopefully some helpful tips there, and how to use it for content creators in an ethical way. So I'm going to share a little bit of that, and I'm going to bring Mary on in a bit. First of all, if you are here, if you're joining later, please put in the comments that, have you tried AI? Are you trying it now? If you've tried it or you're trying it now, what frustrations have you had or concerns? Maybe there's something that I'm not addressing in here that's pertinent to this particular topic. Do you know what tools you want to use? Do you know what tools are out there? Any questions that you have, just go ahead and pop them in there, And oh, my volume seems a little bit low. Okay, let me check on that. Does that change anything, Melissa? Let me know if the volume is a little bit better now. I switched to these AirPods because my microphone, that's another thing. It's like we need each other to test things out sometimes, and it's a little lonely trying to figure it out all the time. If you can't hear me okay, let me know. I have the volume all the way up on my end, but I can just check one more thing. Because I do want to make sure that the volume is good for you guys. Okay, so while I'm bringing that up, looks like everything in my end is the best I can get it to be for now. Let's talk a little bit about just the fact that AI has exploded. I don't know what your first experience was or introduction into it, but the first thing I saw, my first reaction may be similar to what some of you guys have experienced, because I saw an ad for an AI tool and it talked about immediately, golly, I'm gonna see if I can switch AirPods and see if that helps at all, or add a second one. Okay, so I'm just gonna add the second one. If that helps any, let me know if that makes a difference. Otherwise, I may have to grab my other ones. So when I first saw the ad for, I think it was Jasper AI, so I may have this incorrectly, so I don't want to go off about that specific name, but I just remember seeing an ad in my Facebook feed, and it talked about writing all the copy for you. You don't have to do anything, just sit back, it's writing copy, and by and large, like, I think every comment was negative. People's reactions were not good. People do not want AI to do all the work for them. They want to be creative. We are creating content. We are using these gifts that God has given us and bringing them to the world. And so I think that concept started to like just kind of put that little nudge in me, like, hands off AI, nope, don't want any part of it, absolutely not. And then it just kind of kept showing up. It kept showing up all over the place. So I host some things on a platform called Searchie right now. There's another platform that I'm going to move some things to called Groove, and I'm going to dive into Groove more tomorrow because they have a new AI tool that's coming out soon. And I have working on getting my affiliate link so I can share that with you, why I want to use it, why I'm excited about it. So anyway, when I first started seeing it in Searchie, the first thing that they came out with was something that, I can't remember what it was called, Copy Creator or something like that, where you can identify, I need some podcast ideas. I need a title or description for XYZ. I need some kind of help for blog ideas, etc. So I tried a few things, and the results were okay. What I started to notice from that time of starting to try it into the other tools that I tested and tried was overwhelming this kind of sense of, yeah, this is AI generated, right? It's marketing copy that in some way sounds good or seems like the way to market to another person with all the words and the language that was used, but you could also tell it just wasn't personal and it did not resonate with me. So I realized I'm looking at this content. Sometimes there's very little that would jumpstart. That was kind of that use of that particular tool because I wasn't paying for the full features. There wasn't much that I was going to get out of it because I only had so much space to include information that would be helpful and relevant for me. I'll talk more about that later because that really applies to how we use AI. And then I tried some other tools like Neuron Writer and WordHero, I think, and those are some to kind of help get jump started on writing. And I saw, yes, lots of blogs and email content that is generated by AI. I was listening to a live stream by Michael Same, who owns Groove.cm, and he was talking about how there's a certain language that AI will prompt you to say at the beginning of an email, hope this finds you well today, or something like that. And he said that that's a clue, that's an AI generated response. So as I was looking at all of that, like it seemed like maybe AI wasn't gonna help me at all. And then I thought, what's the point? I don't even need to bother with this. But it just kept coming. And I don't know about you, but you probably just kept seeing AI here, AI there. Now AI's in my ClickUp. AI for Groove has been really pushed. I'm using Descript now for some editing, and there's actually AI generated sound improvement. which is really helpful because I have had so many tech issues, even though I have equipment that should be able to manage everything I'm doing. Something always goes on, and this has been happening for years in Texas, now in Maryland. Different systems, different equipment, different tools, different resources. It has been so frustrating. And now I started recording on this new tool, and when I use this other microphone, it's picking up a lot of ambient noise. So this is the microphone I was using on Zoom, but Zoom has a feature that I just realized apparently automatically applies audio filters or changes for you so that it takes out the background ambient noise. Well, when I'm getting a raw audio sound, I'm getting extra sounds, nothing I hear in my room. So I got to test, is it lights that I don't know? There's some static electricity kind of happening and I just can't hear it. But anyway, I lost my train of thought because, man, that has been a journey. Oh, the AI sound alterations. So in Descript, when I bring in my audio and that has that background noise, it can clear it all out, and then I have good enough quality audio because I want to create a podcast. I need to have some good clear audio, which is why I appreciate Melissa telling me I can't really hear you. So I apologize for that. I will try to test the audio a little bit more next time before tomorrow to make sure that it is up and running. I hesitate to use that microphone because the ambient noise is bothersome. So I may change it here just a little bit to see. Actually, let me just do that right now. Because this is about content creation. You guys understand that there is shifts. Let's see if I can just change the audio and see what we get. So I'm going to just bring up my audio prompt. That's why it was low, because it wasn't even picking up my headphones. Y'all, seriously. Now I switched to the AirPods. Live and learn. That's what this place is going to be. I'm going to do the best I can to bring helpful content, to bring discussions around the tools that are helpful for you. And I hope that this little mix up on my own end is beneficial for you because we all make mistakes. There are so many pieces sometimes that we're trying to pull together to produce something that is good quality, that serves our audiences well, that meets them where they're at so that what we have to offer reaches them, that it helps them, and that we remain encouraged in the work that we're doing so we don't give up trying to provide it, right? Oh, goodness, y'all. Thank you so much. Both Mary and Melissa saying the audio is better. So I thought I had my earpods going and it wasn't working. Okay, lesson learned, always check your audio source. I've done that on Zoom too, where I actually would have recorded really good videos, no audio. Okay, live and learn. So let's go back to AI. And I want to talk about the concerns that people have around kind of the copywriting aspect, like actually plagiarism is really a better word, and or lazy writing, for example. So I also color. So I watch a lot of coloring, adult coloring, like coloring books channels. And so there's lots of coloring books out there, and there's been a lot of discussion about certain books, and especially particularly on Etsy versus some other platforms where people are creating AI generated images and selling them. Now, right now, we can still tell there's certain ways that you can identify that's actually AI generated, but there's a huge pushback in the community of people who actually use coloring books or are really fond of it, who are saying, let's get Etsy to stop allowing AI produced images and presenting them that way, or at least getting the message out that here's a reason all these images are so cheap. Because it's AI generated, you're not supporting a creator who's actually put all the time and effort to draw everything out themselves. And so I love that. And I think that perspective and activity can also be helpful for us as we're thinking about writing copy, emails, social media posts, outlines for video presentations, audio presentations, etc. Because our audience doesn't even want all AI generated stuff. We need to create our own stuff, but we can leverage the starting point, the idea generation of AI but it also takes work to do that. And when we use AI well, not only are we not going to plagiarize, because that would not be ethical, and I do believe that if we're plagiarizing written words, over time, hopefully, exposure is going to continue. Now, we know there's some big stories out there of people who have plagiarized other people's content in the Christian book world, nonfiction particularly, I'm thinking of, and I just can't. Those messages do need to get out. But for us, we can use AI and know we could choose. We're going to choose to use it in a way that is not only ethical, doesn't plagiarize other people, but it honors the work of let me put it a different way. It honors the design of God within each of us. When we get information from an AI model, I don't think it's generally ready to go in the first place, but it can be that information that kind of sparks the ideas and takes you from that blank screen to something that's there, that's workable. Then you are creating and generating and revising things to what's authentic for you. AI can never replace you. I did another video on my main channel, Jolene Underwood, around what AI has that you never will. Because AI is not able to generate on its own new insights, new information. God has given us amazing wisdom. He is the source of all wisdom. We are connected to the source of wisdom, insight, knowledge, creativity, and ways of kind of navigating things that feel like obstacles sometimes. So when I think of AI and the concerns people have that this is going to keep people from wanting to read my content because I can't produce as much, it's not as fast, etc. All those things some of those things could happen, right? Sometimes there's shifts. We saw in the pandemic, there was shifts related to how we shopped, how we were able to get more resources from stores delivered to our car. So many of those things were, I believe, on the precipice already, but because of the shutdowns, companies were forced to adjust, to make some modifications. And with AI, it's here. Like, it's not going anywhere. I believe this is something that we can learn to use and use well so that we are adjusting and pivoting and being still the light to other people, allowing God to work through us with this new tool, this resource. It might be helpful to understand that when you think of like ChatGPT, for example, I didn't even hear this term until last week. It's called a large language model. You may be familiar with this more than I am, but the LLM, the large language model, really is about a lot of content, a lot of data. And if you've ever used ChatGPT, I've only used 3.5. I'm not paying for the updated version, but you can put information in there. And sometimes if you're asking a question that may change over time fairly quickly, you will get a response back from ChatGPT saying, just so you know, basically, all the information I have is up to some month in 2021. It's not current, it's not up to date. It only has so much information in it. Of what I understand, ChatGPT 4 has a lot more data and information to draw from, but I'm not sure that it's more current necessarily, or that it's even as current as present. So AI is limited by the content that is pulled together and the way that data is inputted and the structures that are put into place to be able to manipulate or handle the data and bring you some information. So you have the repository of the data itself. And I noticed this difference first when I started working with Searchie. They added a tool inside the platform itself called Searchie AI or Searchie Wisdom.
And I have it on my Cultivate Together community hub right now. And since I do want to move though to another platform soon, but it has a ask button on the bottom. And because in that hub, what I have is a lot of video content. So part of what the members get is they get core growth lessons, and then they have regular growth lessons that are built in this library and some additional video content. All that video content is hosted on this platform. And one of the reasons I went to Searchie is because it auto transcribed and auto added closed captioning to all my videos. And I do have people who wrestle with hearing and they want to be able to read the captions. So, which by the way, I can't figure out how to add captions on Ecamm just yet when I'm live, only if I do it from YouTube. So I will work on that in the future. But what this new tool does, this little bot in the bottom with Searchie Wisdom, is so let's say I talk about things like relational nutrients, attachment, bond, how we kind of connect well with one another, boundaries, topics, things like that. So let's say somebody goes into the Growth Hub. Maybe they have some idea that I've talked about something. And they're like, oh yeah, she said something about relational nutrients in our group call. I can't remember what that is. So what are relational nutrients? What does this even mean? You can type that in, and what you get back sounds like me, first of all, and it provides information that is using words I've used and points people specifically. Oh yes, Mary says she's in another membership with Searchie. That tool has been really useful. So they get that information that sounds like it's coming from me. I don't have to address it. It's available 24/7 whenever anybody wants the information. And then it also gives them a timestamp and the specific location of the video or videos that it pulled the information from. So for Searchie, what it's doing is it's using AI structures. I don't know how it all works in the back end, but it is especially loaded with all of what I've already presented on a topic. If I haven't shared it, the person's going to get an answer that I don't know. I haven't covered that information. They cannot ask me for a stock tip. There's nothing in that content about stock tips. Haven't a clue. That's amazing. That is amazing. Those types of resources, helpful for me because I don't have to create an FAQ database. I can pull information. Actually, I could have an FAQ database based on asking my own questions and pulling it together, and it's done like that versus me spending a lot of mental energy on that part. I only have so much creative energy. You only have so much creative energy. How are we best going to use that creative energy to be able to take the information, the insights, and bring it together for other people? So for me, that is a benefit because it not only helps me preserve some of my mental energy, but it helps the people that are on the community because they can ask questions. How do I set healthy boundaries? If I have information on it, they're going to get information directly from me in the group right there in the middle of the night. What's an emotional regulation tool? How can I relax right now? I'm having ruminating thoughts. I have bonus videos in there. They're going to get that content and exactly where to go on that video so they can review it and listen to it if they need to. So that is really amazing because when we can add our own stuff into the AI, there's more to draw from that is relevant to the work we're doing, which is one of the reasons I'm going to present on the Groove. It is about to launch. It's called CoPilot, Content CoPilot, and I'm going to share more about that tomorrow. But what that does is it uses models that are already out there, ChatGPT being one of the big ones, and then adds your own knowledge base. So you can add large volumes. You could add a whole Bible in there if it doesn't already have access to everything. You can add specific books that are relevant to the work that you're doing, and then you can add your own content, but make sure the books are like that's the other people's content, and then you add your own. And when you're asking for information, it's going to base it off of what you've already put in there. So you can include things like, this is what my business is about. This is who I create content for. Here's samples of my style of writing. Here's samples of my type of content, etc., and it's building more of a database that can keep generating it. One of the big things about ChatGPT, it doesn't have that memory base to hold all of that. You have to keep putting in information. So when you're using AI, one of the big things is you need to learn how to offer prompts. Prompts give the AI more information that is relevant to what you're looking for so that the information that comes back to you has more relevant, is more pertinent, right? Because it has that large database that they've pulled together up to 2021. But if you just say, give me 5 subject lines about XYZ topic, and you keep it really brief, you might get something. You're going to get some ideas, but it's not going to be fine-tuned. It's not going to be ready for your audience. It's not going to be connected to your vision, your voice, your values. It needs to be tweaked. So one of the things that I find beneficial about AI is that as I'm working in ChatGPT, it's actually prompting me to get really good at asking thorough questions, to be more concise, to be clear, and to use so I've struggled with verbalizing or getting the words. And Mary, I'm going to bring you on in just a couple minutes. So I'm glad you're right there because I want to bring you on in just a couple minutes. Actually, I think I can add you and you'll be, oh no, come right back in. I'm going to put you in the green room. I haven't used this interview thing, so thank you for bearing with me. I do not want this on. Okay, so yeah, Mary, just come on back and I'll put you in the green room until I'm ready to bring you in. This is the last thing I wanted to speak about, that it has helped me because I wrestle with, what does it sound like in my audience's head when they're asking a question? What might the questions be? Like, I know my own questions, just something has always been a little bit more challenging to get connected there, okay? With this prompting in ChatGPT, I have really been pushed to try to get more clear, write in this style, persuasive, compassionate, um, trying to use terms that AI already recognize as a voice style to get started with. This is for this type of person. This person does this. They feel this. And the AI still can't pick up all of that. But the more you put into it, the more information it has to draw from. Yet ChatGPT can only hold so much. Whereas when you have something like this upcoming Groove tool, you'll be able to add your own content in there. And then I've used other tools like I forget what's WordHero, I think, and Neuron Writer to try to drum up some ideas as well. Now, I haven't leveraged them very well myself yet, which is one reason I'm glad that Mary reached out and said she'd like to share. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. We might have another guest. I don't know if she's going to join us or not, but I want to make sure that I bring Mary here. She's here on the right.
Okay,
Yay!
new technology. Now, I have not done a whole lot. I've just been impressed with the little I've been able to do. I just,
Mm-hmm.
I ask it for an inductive Bible study outline on a particular passage. And I mean, it knows that style. It has all the, provides all the questions. Um, I've asked it, I do a lot with the Psalms, and so, I have in the past. And so it's study guide on, Psalm 23. So it's an, it just writes all the, that's without any additional prompts or any.
Oh, you're cutting out a little bit. Hopefully she'll be right there with us here shortly. So it sounds like she's getting started without additional prompts and kind of getting some initial outlines for a Bible study, which again is that moving from a blank screen to something that is something to work with. When I start writing for my book proposal and the books that I want to write, I've really struggled because they're big ideas and it's been challenging to know, how can I pull this together? And I was encouraged to hear another former acquisitions editor say, hey, you might just need to write a lot of it before you really have those ideas fleshed out. That gives me information to start with when I have a lot more content. It's a little frustrating to do that, but that's kind of what I'm started to hear from you, Mary. I'm not sure if that's where you were going, that you started to get some basic information.
Yes. So I think I'm back.
Yes,
Yeah,
I see.
so just getting a basic information, getting an outline, and that's from the folks in the Christian community that I've interacted with. That's really that's what they're using it for. It's like it's not like we're trying. I mean, yeah, it can write us. I've seen a little bit on you know, some churches have done a full AI service. Let Chat GPT, but but it's a known thing to let to let everybody learn, just like you're learning this microphone works in this situation or not. You have to try some things to see what
Mhm.
it's not a preacher doing his sermon completely on AI and not telling somebody. It's how well does it know the system. I mean, the other thing I've done is have it write children's Bible stories for me. So write me a version of this passage. Well, you can tell that it's, primarily, King James is public domain in the US. So it's using, you can tell it's pulling quotes exactly from the King James for different parts of the story. But um, I just, as with everything, it's a tool. Facebook can be used for good. Facebook can be used for bad. That's um, along with anything. So it's being aware. And I haven't done as much research. I'm still in collecting phase of but it's what you said. It's how to write the prompts,
Mhm.
how to give it the correct the best information in order to get it to write in your style,
Mhm.
or to address the audience that you want to address.
Yeah, absolutely. Because without that, well, the addition of that, the fact that we have to be creative enough in bringing that information to the AI model, to me, is a sign of how valuable our creativity is as that human element in the process. And then also fine tuning what's presented. For me, the biggest thing is there's so many different pieces. My brain's in a lot of different places. So it's that mental energy, like I mentioned, but also that place to start from. Oh, now that I've got that, oh, all of a sudden now I have all my ideas.
Yeah.
So the creativity God's given me is being used in an even more efficient way.
And to me, all of that I've done in the past with just different, with less easy to use tools.
Mm-hmm.
I go look for, commentaries on this passage. And, so I'll go to Blue Bible and look at, different people's commentaries on a passage in order to, start my creative thinking. And to me, this is just another, um, maybe a more effective tool, especially, and I'm not familiar with what you're describing, that you can pull your own knowledge base in. But I mean, how cool is that? To me, that sounds like, making the Logos Bible software platform, with you can pull in all the different reference materials that you use. Um, if it'll pull in, you know, books you already have on file, and then, as I mentioned in the chat, I was at the conference when Searchie was first talked about, and I was like, and I'm not a big video audio creator, and so it didn't mean that much to me. But being
Mm-hmm.
in this membership with, they've got at least 2 years worth of what they call coffee chats, but it's been just question and answer. So it's a random string of topics. And so to be able to use Searchie and say, okay, if I'm going to use email for this, or I'm looking for a particular subject that's been addressed, well, then I get the, 3 videos from the last couple of years, like you said, exact location to click and hear that discussion. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's more than worth the price of the membership that I'm paying just to be able, to get those at whenever I need them.
Yeah, exactly. Because we have all that information. We don't have the time to go through all that or the memory space to hold it all in one place for
Yeah,
ourselves and go, oh, yeah, it was in August call on the 22nd and the second hour. Yeah, and I love that because the Searchie started with just the search bar at the top. And that's their primary feature to search all the text, the transcripts and the subtitles. But with the new bot, it actually even gives the information pulled together like you're answering it, which is pretty amazing. So I'm hoping that we'll have something similar with what I'm hearing for the group thing that I'm going to talk about more tomorrow, because it is looks like it's going to be a pretty powerful tool. So is there anything else that you wanted to share, Mary? I want to make sure that you had a chance to share.
that's it for now.
Okay. Do you know if your friend wanted to join?
I think she's here. Is she not?
I don't know. I haven't seen any comments, and I haven't seen her try to join. I could put her in the green room, or
Okay.
I can bring her on if she's ready. So what's her name's Lane? Is that right?
Lane. Yeah, let me
Lane?
see.
Okay.
Let's see.
So,
I'm texting, we all our different
sure.
modes of communication. So
Right. If you guys have questions right now, go ahead and just drop them in there, or what kind of comes to mind as you're thinking about using AI for creating content. Maybe you're starting to generate ideas. That's part of what I'm hoping to foster and develop with this new platform for mostly I'm just going to do some YouTube videos that are free probably, and I'll have an email list. You can just go to my name, joleneunderwood.com/subscribe, and you can actually subscribe for updates related to Creator Life Collective. So I'll keep you posted. The membership community, what I want to be able to do, and with these videos, is collaboratively share. We learn together. Let's not all be isolated islands out there trying to figure everything out on our own. Let's benefit from one another, and I want to bring us together so that we can do that. Oh, Lane's not camera ready. So do you want to just come on with audio? You can do that too. I don't know if did you have to get asked about turning on your camera and your microphone both, Mary?
it did not ask, it just turned the camera on.
Turn them
So
both on? Okay. So maybe you can't. I still need to learn Ecamm a little bit better. But uh okay, I'll let Lane respond to that. And then Mary, I'm gonna go ahead and take you out of the screen, but thank you so much for joining us and
okay,
sharing your thoughts.
you're welcome. Glad to be here.
Yeah, it's good to see you again too. It's been a while.
Yes, yes, it has been.
Yes. Yes. And I actually need to share how I know Mary. So I led a group called Rise Up Writers for several years. And that started off with just like a newsletter. I wanted to encourage and equip Christian writers because the biggest thing I saw was as I was writing, I noticed other people experiencing this too. One, when you're putting out the good work that's helpful, you get spiritual battles and you have physical battles, financial, like all of a sudden, the people who are bringing together books, especially authors of new books, frequently I hear about challenges that they're dealing with that seem exponential. They are doing the book when they're doing that with that heart, the drive that God has given them, and really leaning into fine tuning it so that it can be used well, then it can be a really impactful message, and there's opposition to it. The other thing that I see for a lot of writers and content creators is we start to sense this, but we either don't know where to go or how to pull things together, or we're constantly feeling isolated. We're dealing with the feelings of, imposter syndrome. Nobody's going to want to hear this. Why would anybody want to hear from me? All those different lies. And so I want to offer the encouragement that supports both this heart place and then the navigation of all the different things so that we can do an amazing job at creating good content. Whether or not the message is directly Christian isn't the point of this group. It is for Christians who create the content so we can serve it well. I do have the eCam link for the audio. Okay, so if you can just do the audio one, Lane, I'd love to bring you on and hear from you as well. I haven't met Lane yet, but Mary had suggested her and introduced me to her. She said that she's been using different AI tools for her content, so I'd love to hear about that. And I think I covered the main points for today. So while I'm waiting for her, I want to let you know that tomorrow I will show Searchie with the basic tool and then the new wisdom function as it lives in the hub right now. I have it turned on for Cultivate Together. I want to make sure that I maintain people's privacy, so I'll test it first. And if not, I'll add it to Unleash Sheets, which doesn't have as much video content, but at least it's something that I can show to you maybe. And then I'll share the Groove content CoCopilot, and we'll probably show things like Neuron Writer and WordHero. But if you're not familiar with all the tools that are out there, there are so many. I wouldn't be able to keep up with it. I'm only hearing about it when I listen to some webinars about how different people are using AI to generate copy. Copy is challenging. Some people write copy for a living, and they are superheroes in my book. Copy is the ability to bring together a big picture idea with short, concise words to bring in the attention of the right reader, viewer, audience member, etc. It is not easy to do. I am much more likely to give you lots of words and struggle with a few words that succinctly help you understand that this is what I'm presenting. Obviously, it's not comprehensive, but it's something to draw the person in. Copy's not easy. That's why I love having these at different just created the content. Oh, so I'm still waiting to get a notification for Lane, but it sounds like, oh, there she is. Sounds like she created content for her revamped website. That's another thing that Groove is promising to do, that it can actually help you build websites by telling you what to do with it. So we're going to talk a lot more about that tomorrow. And I'm probably going to do a live for it, maybe 2 hours or more. I don't know. I'm just going to include the information. I'll give you the outline of what's covered where, and then I'll try to provide timestamps afterwards. So let me bring her in. It's just audio. Okay, so we can't see Lane, but we can hear her. It's good to meet you. Oh, you're muted right now, looks like.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay,
Yay.
wonderful. And I'm so sorry I'm not camera ready. Now, can you hear the reverb that I can or no?
I hear a little bit. Do you have, well, I guess, do you have headphones in?
Now, is that better?
I think it's okay. I think the sound's okay.
I
I'll,
muted you too. It is hilarious. This is hilarious. Yes. So, okay. So we are having technical difficulties. Anyway, I would love to come back and share, just as an author and a speaker, how AI has changed the game for me personally. I know a lot of authors are similar to me that we don't have a huge budget to outsource a bunch of copywriting and idea strategies and things like that. So, what I want to really encourage people today is, AI has become our greatest, like you said, assistant. It's not creating content that is not us. It's our content that is being able to be repurposed, um, getting a new slant or new perspective, or um, it just helps, particularly if you're kind of a one person operation. It's a tremendous time saver. I don't know if the same way.
yes.
So anyway, I just really wanted to encourage everyone not to be afraid of it. That it absolutely can capture the heart that you have for helping the kingdom of God, sharing hope and encouragement to others through your writing, your videos, or whatever you do. Um, and I would say the most beneficial thing I'm doing right now, but you would share one nugget today would be video IA, and it takes your videos and slices it into shorts, and then you're able to repurpose that very quickly. What took days and hours now becomes seconds.
Yeah. I'm going to pause for just a second. The audio is a little bit challenging to hear, but I want to just recap what I'm hearing from you. That she's found a way to definitely leverage the AI to repurpose content and to save money because we can't hire personal assistants. And then she mentioned, I think you mentioned a video AI tool that's helping you take the video long form content and create shorts from it, which I definitely would like to learn. So maybe Lane, what I think I'd like to do is, since I have this next one planned tomorrow, I'd like to do another one in the future, and then maybe you and I could do one together, just specifically with you showing what you use, if you're able to, and we just test the video and audio, make sure everything's good, and then you can share like maybe an example of what that'd be like for someone.
That sounds great. And I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. We will do better next time.
Absolutely, both of us. No problem. Well, it was good to have Lane on, and like I said, I actually hope that even the technical difficulties, even though it could be a little challenging, and I know all of our time is limited, so I want to honor that. At the same time, they happen. And when they happen, we don't have to be surprised. We can learn to be adaptable to that. And when we are actually learning to adapt, like today, if I started freaking out, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got it wrong, if all the doubts inside me, all the messages that hadn't been healed were starting to show up in a place that started saying all of that when I'm presenting content, I'm actually doing a disservice to you and a disservice to myself. And so that is another reason why I want to include this soul care element, because when we are also doing our own personal work, then we're able to more effectively navigate when the challenges arise, to adapt as needed, and to not feel shut down, ashamed, or wanting to hide because we made a mistake. We don't want that to take over. Mistakes happen. They happen to all of us. They happen to some people with like massive platforms. And when I know that they're trying their best, they're putting their best foot forward and trying to provide good content, but a mistake happens, they adjust and they adapt, I'm encouraged. And so I hope this encourages you as well. And I also wanted to mention one more tool that I plan to cover tomorrow is called Castmagic. Now, I will see if there's still the lifetime deal on it. The Groove thing that I'm mentioning does have a lifetime deal. I'll talk more about it tomorrow. I don't have my affiliate link yet, but I would love people to use affiliate links because it would help me out, especially trying to keep this content creation going. I am going to need some assistance at some point because there's a third group that I'm working on, which I want to provide is for connected church care, and that has to do with helping people who are wanting to improve how we connect well in church faith communities and include trauma informed and abuse informed content, and also content that helps us increase vulnerability and safety within faith communities. So that's another thing. When you use Descript, you get to evaluate all the filler words you use. When I put this video into Descript later to get subtitles to upload this with the video on YouTube, I'm going to see the number tied to all the times I said the word so and and any other filler word that I use, which is actually really cool because one, I can take it out for the audio productions, especially the podcast, and two, it helps me become a little more aware of how I'm presenting and just something that I can work on. Again, when we hear these different things, we learn these different nuances, we have an opportunity to adjust and to experience that we can make it through that mistake without it being the end for us. It's okay when we try something, it doesn't work the way we want it to. You start trying an AI tool, it doesn't produce the content you want. You may need to learn how to create more effective prompts. You may need to learn what type of information to provide to the AI tool, or you need to try a different tool, or maybe something else is going to be more helpful for you. We don't know until we start stepping out. And I believe God is calling each of us as Christian content creators to step forward. If God is leading us forward, He's going to show up and be there for us. Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we're thinking, is this of God? Maybe it couldn't be of God. And that debate could be more of our fear speaking than anything, or we have to sense a certainty before we move forward. Some of us as Christians want to be absolutely 100% positive and certain that God has specifically ordained this action, this tool, this resource, this application, this business idea, this whatever it is. And so often, I've experienced for myself, and I see it over and over and over again in other people's lives. There are amazing opportunities available to us, and they're not necessarily right or wrong. One may be more effective in the long run with certain goals, or they may not be, or our goals on the other side will shift over time. We don't know that yet. God does. When we have different options available to us, if there isn't a specific prompting that's going against it, and there isn't necessarily a specific prompting from the Spirit to move towards it, you can still evaluate moving forward with the best that you know, the best information you have, to try something new, to test it. By the testing, by the trying, by stepping forward in faith, you have an opportunity to learn that God's with you in the process, to reshape and move toward what the fine-tuned goal will be on the other side. I started writing my blog on organic gardening and herbs. I had 2 different blogs for those types of things because that's what I was focused on at the time. They weren't actually my main interest, but I needed an outlet to share my passion with other people. Over time, it really got fine-tuned into the emotional health topic, personal growth, things that had actually been with me all my life, that weren't a passion for a short term or a more personal passion. They were things that were part of how I'm wired, the way that God designed me to see things in the world and to bring that information to other people. Now I'm leaning into that, and it is amazing. It's an amazing place to be. I want that for you. I want you to try, to test, and to see what works for you, what works for your audience. Fine-tune the message over time. It will get more and more clear as you continue to step forward. And I hope the AI tools that you find can be helpful. If you want to share just name a tool and how you use it, feel free to do so in the comments below. Do not share links, but just include that information. I will be sharing some links once I'm able to on this new channel. I'll have to wait for verification sometime tomorrow. That'll happen. Then I can add some affiliate link information if you're interested in these specific tools. My plan with this channel is to continue creating some content that is helpful for Christian content creators, like how to use different tools. I want to bring together other people who use different tools and how it applies for them, just like we did today, and share that with you. And make this space here on YouTube a place where you can also start generating information that's helpful as you're navigating. What email platform do I use? How do I manage finances? How do I schedule different social media? What is a good way to do certain things on social media? What's the new thing with Instagram Reels or TikTok, if that's your place, whatever it is? How do I create good courses? Now, the content here on YouTube is going to also kind of maybe explore some of those things at an entry level. My idea with the membership community would be that there'd be collaborative group calls where we can take turns asking like brainstorming questions about something that we're trying to create, and we just need some more information. So we don't, maybe the AI is not enough. We need a little bit more brainstorming, so somebody else that can help us, or we don't have access to an AI tool. And also opportunities where somebody is learning how to really leverage a specific tool and shares that within the community so that we're all benefiting and learning together. Way too many of us are alone in this process. We may get some information and help on certain pieces, but I have not yet seen a community, especially for Christian creatives, that honors the way that we want to honor one another and the way that we honor faith as part of our lives, that brings together the technical connection in this way. Now, actually, Jen Weaver has a great community called Collective Good, and you may be interested in that. It is Not very expensive. She has a group that includes, and I have an affiliate link too, so I'll try to put that down later for collective good. But she does offer some different teachings and trainings, so you get like little like half-hour office hour sessions where there's some information. What I'm looking to do here in this particular group is going to operate a little bit differently, but it really around caring for the heart of you as you show up, and then also navigating all those different pieces, bringing it together and bringing collaborative opportunities together. So if you're interested, please do sign up on the email list and let me know. I do have a new Instagram account for this. I got to figure out, I'm not very good at logos. So if anybody wants to help with logos, feel free to let me know, because that would be great. Logos and header banners. I'm just not good at the design element. It took me a long time to get this one up here. That's for my main channel, actually, and I forgot to take it off for this particular one. Thank you for joining. I hope this content is helpful. Please do subscribe and also like in YouTube so that it starts to generate some interest and lets YouTube know that this has been helpful for you, because hopefully it'll be helpful for other people as well. Thanks again, and I look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, diving into specific tools. Take care.